For regular viewers of GSRC, Errol Numm's name is a well-known quantity. Not only is he a 6-time Formula Neagle champion in the Skippy, he has a pair of MX-5 World Tour crowns in the Mazda, and is currently working on a Weekend Warrior title in the SRF, not to mention an Insecticide Porch Torch win. All championships covered here on GSRC. Not so established, but quickly making a name for himself is Claudius Veed. Making his GSRC debut this season in Formula Neagle, Veed has a win. He has led the most laps, but most importantly, coming into today's season finale, he has the point lead. Sebring is the battleground. The Formula Renault 2.0 race car is the weapon of choice, and the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle Season 14 Championship are the spoils. Who will win the crown of speed, Errol Numm or Claudius Veed? Find out live as it happens here on the Global SimRacing Channel. After that pause for dramatic effect, I can offer a sincere hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast and the countdown to green. As cyberspace flows into your place over these 15 streaming award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the 60 minutes of simulated Formula Renault 2.0 racing that follows immediately as we count down to green to the Formula Neagle Season 14 finale. And here to do all of that, well, the prodigal son returns. That's right, Adam Young is once again sharing the microphone with yours truly, Bill Soups On. Our director is Sean Crackers Ambrose, armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. All right, Adam, 6 are in the book, and now it's the season finale, and we do it at a place that should be pretty familiar to the drivers. We're talking about Silverstone.
Yeah, you know, right there on your screen right now, you get kind of the edge of one of the things that makes Silverstone famous, being the site of an old RAF World War II bomber airfield where they helped to launch strikes against Germany during World War II from here. So lots of historical elements around this track. Of course, we're running the Grand Prix layout here for today. 17 turns and at the comb of the current British Grand Prix, and we wait patiently for the new scheme to come out here eventually. 3.194 miles and 5.14 kilometers. Now, let's go ahead and take a lap around Silverstone to get an idea of what it's like.
All right, we've got Amjad Yama to the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Silverstone. Coming down to Cops, you have a lot of runoff on the outside, so you can get away with coming in too hot. But be wary, because the AstroTurf and curbs can bounce the car around, and you'll potentially damage the undertray. From there, you'll let the car drift to the right. Just make sure to keep your head up in case anyone is exiting the pits. Now comes the Maggots-Beckett sequence. Each corner gets progressively slower, and just like most S's, your line is critical. Try to set up for each successive corner so that ideally you can get to the power out of Beckett's and be flat out through Chapel. The biggest reason this is so important is we're now coming onto the Hangar Straight. You don't want to be vulnerable with a slow exit onto this section since the draft is already going to be a big help. Hold to the left for the best line into Stowe. It's going to be tricky in the low-slung Renault with its blind apex. Hopefully, you kept from understeering off.
After that, you get another chance to overtake with a heavy braking into the Vale chicane. But coming into this corner too deep can wind up being costly because you want to give yourself the ability to get on the power through club as early as you can. It's usually going to wind up being a bit of a compromise. If you're still dicing with your opponent, you get one more try at making a pass into the Abbey chicane. But as far as being fast by yourself goes, you've got to remember that the first apex is going to be a lot tighter than the second. Plant the car, and then plant your foot and power off the exit as soon as you know the car will stick. While it's easily flat out through bridge,
drivers' lines coming into Priory might vary, and that can sometimes cause wrecks, so keep your head on a swivel. From there, it's a short burst to Brooklands, and the turns get tighter and slower in this technical section of the track. Switch back quick and try to square off Luffield. This is a patience-trying corner, but you gotta be careful about costing yourself time on the exit. Once you get on the power, you won't be lifting through Woodcote all the way until the first turn. But as we cross the line, we've now finished a lap around Silverstone.
And there's a lap around Silverstone. I misspoke earlier when I said that Sebring is the battleground. Clearly, we are here at Silverstone. A lot smoother than it would be in Florida. Let's take a lap around the point standings now, and we talked about it in the beginning. Boy, the championship is close. You can see that Claudius Veed has a 3-point lead over Aero Num. Let's drill down a little bit on this one. The big part of the championship is happening right now. There's a bonus point, a single bonus point for the qualifiers who finish in the top 3. So it would be surprising if Veed and Num did not each make it into the top 3 and get that bonus point. There are also bonus points for leading a lap and fastest lap. The point interval between first and second is 3 points. That's in the points what are awarded. So you can see that if taking points, bonus points out of the picture, if Num was get the win, they would end up in a tie, assuming Veed finishes second. There's a 2-point differential between the other spots farther down. The first tiebreaker of the wins, well, that's going to be it's going to be wins for that tiebreaker. Then the next one goes to runner-ups, and that's where Num has an advantage there. It should be mentioned that if the stars align and things go totally wrong for Veed and Num, Diego Francisco still has a mathematical chance of getting the crown. Pierce Cockey is cemented in 4th. Tuan Tran is only 1 point safe in 5th ahead of David Burns and Alex Johnson. Let's go ahead and look at the F2 crown right now, where Ludovic Sawyer is a comfortable 7 points up on Daniel Solo. Ian Roberts in 3rd position maybe has a chance to get there, but points are kind of hard to come by down there in that F2 championship. Josh Brain falling down into 4th position, and Jonathan, the only American racing, Jonathan Almanar in 5th. Let's go to the team championship, and again, this one is pretty much secured. TT Racing red, that's Francisco and Cockey. Those guys have a 55-point margin over TT Racing yellow, and that's the solo effort by Claudius Veed. Another solo effort by Aero Num for Team Butch Fink Racing Pink. Those guys are, look at that, they're 3 points apart in the point standings. For drivers, makes sense they're 3 points apart here in the team championship since they have no partners. Two Stupid Dogs, they've made a great run at the last part of the season, get solidly into 4th. TT Racing Silver, they're not safe there. There's a couple teams right behind them. Tuan Tran and Bastian Hausman doing the work there. All right, that takes care of all of our points. Let's go down to something a little less involved. Talked about the race details.
Yes, of course, this is the conclusion today of Season 14 of the Absolute Beginners Formula Neagle Series, and this is round 7 of 7. There are no drops during this season, so all the points, all the races have counted to come down to this, with that point differential being what it is. Race distance, we're going to go for an hour here. Remember, that was a change coming into this season where all the races are an hour. Setups are open, but they do have 30% fuel cap, so we are going to see 2 stops here for today with that 24 incident cap.
Before we get to the weather, let's jump right to the track right now and see what's going on in qualifying, since it is such an important part of the championship. Look at that, Claudius Veed sitting on the top. That's worth a bonus point. Aero Num yet to put in a time.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if Hero's just kind of sitting around, and, well, no, actually he's on track right now, so we're going to see, maybe he might. I think he's on his first flyer here, so let's go ahead and switch over to Aero Num, and he's coming to the line, see what he's going to come across as. And waiting for him to hit that marker. 140. Ooh, he's going to take the provisional pole by almost 0.02 of a second right there. So, I think the game is on, guys, for Aero Num and Claudius Veed.
If you're new to this series, they have a really unique qualifying system. It's open qualifying, but the drivers are only allowed 3 hot laps. So you have to time it carefully. You can get out there, work with your partner if you like. And of course, if you make a mistake, like on lap number 1, you have to take it back into the pits, come on out. That warm-up lap counts at a lap, so you want to be careful. But they only get 3. Aero Num right now ahead of Claudius Veed by about 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, and I just checked Claudius Veed's times. I don't know if that was because of an incident or maybe he put a wheel off track or something. He does have 3 laps on the board. We'll see how the rules play out there. He might be done for the qualifying session, though. But either way, that would give the pole to Aero Num. But it's just the top 3 that they need to be in order to get the bonus point. So 1, 2, hey, that just means we're going into this thing with the same 3-point differential that we did coming into it.
Diego Francisco also getting a bonus point right now as he sits third. We're looking at Tuan Tran. Tuan's been having a good run of the season here at the very end, made his way onto the top 5 graphic. Season 6 champion.
Don't forget, Tuan Tran was one of those guys that was always up there contending with Euronum and all that, and just kind of hit a bad stretch in the second half of last season, and it kind of carried over into the beginning of this season, so it's good to hear they're starting to get over that.
Well, let's go ahead and take this opportunity to see what the weather is like here in England. This is always an important part of the process. There we have it.
So the exact opposite of what weather's usually like in England this time of year, but that's okay. Clear skies, 66 is the air temperature, so it's pretty cool out there with that track temperature, though, only at about 96. And I say it only at 96. You can watch Euronum sliding through there. Winds out of the southwest, about 8 miles per hour.
You can see how iRacing deals with clear skies. The temperature is 66. When the sky is clear, the sun pounds down and heats up the temperature on the track. There's our, get this, 6-time champion in Formula Neagle, Errol Num. Looking to pick up his 7th. Claudius Speed would like to put an end to that.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it would just be fitting, though, that the first season with the Formula Renault cars, Euronum ends up just kind of just continuing the stretch that he had with the old Skip Barber machines. So
we're going to talk about Alex Johnson. I talked about Tuan Tran being in 5th position, and there were a couple guys right behind him. David Third Degree Burns was a point back. The other driver was this rookie, Alex Johnson. Well, he currently sits 3rd in qualifying, which is worth a bonus point, which would mean when they grid up, Johnson and Tran would be tied. Oh, and Diego Francisco is going to jump to the pole.
Ooh, it's like solidly jumped to the pole as well.
Errol Num must have been listening to the broadcast, because as soon as I said that, the Rolling Estonian crashed his car.
Yep. Now, we need to still go back to keeping an eye on Alex Johnson here, because if he's able to put down on his next flyer, if he's able to put down a time, he was only 800ths of a second off Claudius Speed, and he could steal that bonus point away from Claudius Speed here, and that would definitely change the scope a little bit of the championship battle here as we try to end the season.
Here's Cocky, brings it in. Now we're on Johnson. Yeah, isn't it funny that the championship may come down to basically 2 100ths of a second between Veed and Johnson. Veed was able ahead of him right now. Let's see what Alex can do. Now, this is the historic version. This one, I'm sorry, we're on the Grand Prix version here at Silverstone. The historic version has a little more flow to it. This one, a little more technical. Works through. Oh, I hate this part of the track going through Priory.
It usually catches me off guard too, Sooth. I know what you mean.
And then this part, this corner that never seems to end here. She just continue to go right and right. Wait to get on the power. Get it all the way out there. Now get on the gas. Let's see what kind of time.
Well, I hope he didn't run too wide there. No, not able to shave off any time. He ran a 42.7, so that's I think based on what I've seen here in qualifying and in practice, I think that's going to cement our top 3 finishers here in qualifying.
And I think that's everybody. There is a name that's interesting. We didn't get a chance to get him on camera too much. Justin Tipton. That's a name we're not usually familiar with seeing. He sits up there in 5th position. We'll run down your finishing your entire grid here in just a minute. Welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. This is the final broadcast this season, season 14 of the Absolute Beginners Formula Neagle. And let's go ahead, since qualifying's done, let's take this opportunity to go to the grid. It's a rather small field, 20 entries. 18 drivers were able to put in qualifying time. And there you see it on the front row, Adam. It's Diego Francisco ahead of Errol Num.
Yeah, along back behind them in row 2, picking up that final bonus point for qualifying in the top 3, Claudius Veed, and alongside him would be Alex Janssen.
You can see just how close those times were between those two. Here's the newcomer we talked about, Justin Tipton. He could be the fly in the ointment. He's going to be inside of Pierce Coffey.
And then Alistair Hay and Tuan Tran are going to make up row 4.
Floris Bashar, a veteran now of the series, in 9th inside of Alejandro Hierro.
And then in row 6, you'll find Henrik Kamara and then Johan Vanderbilt.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, it's Ludwig Sauer. Bastian Hausmann flanks him in 4th.
Well, Czech Podacek is going to make his start in 15th position, the inside of row 8, and John Morgan will start alongside him.
Daniel Solo, who's in the hunt for that F2 championship, in 17th inside of Matt Caballo.
Mentioned points hard to come by that F2 championship. I know. I was, 4th or 5th on that standing at one point this season. But, yeah, so Daniel's going to be one that makes up some points and try to be able to see what he can do there. In the back row, making up the back part of the field, find Elmer Noteboom and Mikhail Hoffdazen. And Elmer Noteboom mentioned a few minutes ago that he was not able to put down a lap time. So that cemented him starting in the back of the field.
And Mikhail Hoffdazen, way too fast to be starting at the back. He's not going to get any attention for hard charger, at least from this commentator, as he's doing a little bit of sandbagging back there. Okay, we wait for them to grid up. Oh, and because this is open qualifying, they give them a little extra time that runs past the allotted time because they want people to be able to put in their final laps. So that's done. So it gives us a little bit of time to put the pressure on Adam Young. Now, first of all, let me welcome back to the booth officially, Adam Young. Thanks for joining me here. I know you race in this series. You're going to get out from behind the wheel, get in front of the microphone, and I appreciate that.
Race in the series, term used loosely. I was able to do 2 races earlier this season, and tell you what, it was great. These guys are great to run with. I was able to do the whole Back Markers United meeting and all that because I wore one. Hopefully maybe next season, maybe start and try to run a little bit more with these guys. But that's all I had time for this season. But it's good to be back up in the booth for this.
Now, it should be noted that Diogo Francisco, our pole sitter, has 2 wins. So, again, the interval between 1st and 2nd is 3 points. The interval between finishing 2nd and 3rd or 3rd and 4th or 4th and 5th is only 2. So, Francisco can still play a big part in this championship by getting a win in there. All right, Adam, I'm going to put the pressure on you. Aero Num, Claudius Veed, who gets the championship?
Ooh, you're going to put me on the spot. I in this situation, I always want to try to go with the guy that's ahead, and that being Claudius Veed. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on Euro Num. The thing that Claudius Veed wants to do, all he has to do is just keep Euro Num around him, either in one spot away in either direction, unless that spot is 1 or 2. I mean, if Euronum's winning this race and Claudius Veed's at 2nd because of the tiebreaker situation, he has to go for it. But that's really the only situation that Claudius Veed is going to be struggling with, assuming everybody gets off the starting line okay.
We will track those bonus points for you. Remember, both Veed and Num get a bonus point, as well as Francisco, for that matter, who's still in the championship battle as well. They all get a bonus point for qualifying inside the top 3. So the only bonus points left are for leading a lap. I would expect all 3 of those drivers to do that sometime during the race. And for fastest lap, and that could be the deciding factor, is who can put in the fastest lap here today.
And don't mention, we can't forget that Diogo Francisco went into this with a mathematical chance.
Yep.
Okay, mathematical. Not the greatest, obviously. We were talking about mathematics. But the fact of the matter is that if something crazy happens here at the start, Diogo Francisco was the fastest car in practice, so we know he could put down a fast lap. We also know now that he qualified on the pole, so he got the bonus point from that. So all those little things, if something crazy were to happen, Diogo Francisco, we can't count him out either.
To Diogo's disadvantage is the small field here today, meaning if disaster were to strike Num and Veed, it would have to strike them early, because if they can put in enough laps here and have enough drivers have attrition fall out, even if they were to have disaster, the points pay down to 20, and there are 20 drivers here today. So it's going to be very, very interesting. We don't expect anything bad to happen to Num or Veed. They're going to get to the end. Drivers beginning to take the grid right now. Boy, it's been a pleasure. You can hear the engine start to harmonize. You know what to do. For the final time this season, gather up the chickens, take covering on the cows, because the horses are out of the barn. And it is Francisco out in front. Oh my goodness, look though what's going on. That's Veed on the inside trying to challenge for second right off the bat. Num's going to have none of it. He gets some good momentum coming out, and now tucking it. This is Alex Janssen getting really close on the back of the six-time champion Claudius, or Errol Num. Oh my goodness, they almost get into it with Veed, but they work it out. Woo.
Yeah, that was very close to Alex Janssen going off track there. And we got a car loose on the back. There's Floris Bashar back there. Nothing we need to go back and look at. Diego Francisco, though, getting a great jump over top of this field. Big lead over Euro Num. And Claudius Veed, he has his hands full right now.
Yeah, and this is rough. Look at Janssen as they come at you.
Out a little bit under Claudius's car.
You see him coming at you. That Janssen has the nod now over Veed. Veed back into fourth, and they keep coming. Here comes the rookie Justin Tipton making his presence known.
Now, Justin Tippin, he's dressed in the same colors there as Claudius Veed, so probably some teammate action there going on. Piers Cockey's also a teammate of his. So all those guys, you know, they don't want to be the ones to interfere in the championship battle or cause any harm to Claudius.
Come right at you, Tipton getting ahead of Cockey. There's another chance. Johan Vanderbilt, you can see him going side by side as they come by. You'll see him in the back of your screen there right on the outside, and he gets the pass made on Cockey. Move Vanderbilt up into seventh.
Piers Cockey gets turned around. I think it was Justin Tippin that got into him.
It was Juan Tran. It was Juan Tran.
Yeah.
We have that one. We'll come back and take a look at that one. Meanwhile, the leader comes across, leading lap number 1. It's Francisco. He's pulling away. Num, Janssen, Veed is in fourth. If the series were to end right now, Num would have a 2-point advantage on Veed. That would not be enough. Veed currently still in position to win the championship. And the last lap was the fastest lap, and that went to Diego Francisco. And my goodness, Num drops a spot. Alex Janssen moves around him, gets up into second.
Is that draft, using that draft to his advantage. Euro Num already trying to come back on him, but now that he kind of got clear to that hornet's nest that was going on, Claudius Veed also starting to make up some ground.
Francisco running away with it. Janssen, Num, Veed, they race nose to tail.
And don't think that hearing Piers Cockey might have been involved in another incident.
This time it was with Matt Carballo. Cockey already had problems from Tuan Tran. He had fallen well down the order. He was near the back. And, boy, short field, finding issues all over the place. We'll come back and get those in a minute. Right now, we're going to stay on this battle for second. I mean, they are one mistake from a championship being decided. And here comes Adam, the rookie. Justin Tipton coming in.
Yeah, like I mentioned, him and Claudius appear at least by car schemes to be teammates. So I expect him to at least give Claudius some room, but he still has his own race to run too. Don't forget that. There are obviously the bragging rights on the line, and you know, some of those incidents in the back there. That's going to be important for somebody like Diego Francisco, because if enough cars drop out of this, as we were talking about with the points payoff, that's going to eliminate him from championship contention. And that means all he's got is this race win. And you know he's going to try running away with it. But that's going to tighten up the points battle back behind them that much more, because you mentioned the points differential. So right now, with Euro Num sitting in third and Claudius Veed sitting in fourth, that points differential between those two positions is only 2 points.
And remember, there are pit stops to be made. 2 of them, in fact.
Yeah, and don't forget that Euro Num is like one of the smartest guys in the entire iRacing service, I think, when it comes to pit stop strategy. He always he knows when to do the whole early peel, late reveal type thing. He knows when to reverse that strategy. You know, he's this very well might not shake out until the closing minutes of this race, and a large part of that might be Euronum's pit strategy.
And just to clarify what I said earlier, and thank goodness that I have Adam Young here with me to make sure that everything is true. When Errol Num was in second and Veed was in fourth, that would have been enough for Errol Num to win the championship there. With that pass, when Janssen got around him, that meant a lot. That moved Veed in position for the championship. As they run right now, third and fourth, that favors the German driver.
Yeah, bonus points excluded. Yeah, Claudius Veed does not want to have Euronum 2 spots in front of him. He's okay with him being right there on the tip of his nose cone. He doesn't want many cars in front of him.
As we look at, before we do a replay here, as I look at who's got the fastest lap so far, according to my timing and scoring, it's Claudius Veed, putting in a 1:43.28.
Yeah, really look for those lap times to come down as the fuel burns off. So that might be another one of those ones that's a subject here. Is looking at Euronum putting a defensive line there on Claudius. He's trying to get around Alex Janssen.
Num now moves up. There's the move. He got on the inside. Careful.
Going in. He spotted Claudius
both together. It's Veed and Num, and the stars have aligned for Diogo Francisco.
And I got to say, Claudius's car looks to be the worst off of the two.
We'll go ahead and take our time and look at this one from several angles, because this is...
Oh, Diogo's around again, almost. He's in the gravel. He's just trying to lift this car back.
Boy, that was on board with Num. Well, we can take a look at this one maybe from up top. Take a look at it one more time. The other car is Janssen. Janssen had it cleared. The Num tried to get inside of Janssen. The two made contact, and poor Veed was just an innocent bystander. He had nowhere to go. Num has fallen down to 7th.
Right now, Claudius Veed is on pit road. He's fallen to 13th.
But the way this works, this will be in his window. He can come in, get any repairs done, and it'll be a 2-stop race for him and for everybody else as well. My goodness.
He's, at least for the moment, he's out of the car.
So Diogo Francisco now out in front by 2.7 seconds. Now, unfortunately for him, because the field only has 20 cars here, I'm not so sure the points are going to be enough for him to get the championship. Num is in 6th right now, in 7th. That interval was about 23 points if memory serves. There's our leader. He got out in front. He stayed out in front. He avoided the trouble. Let's look at Alistair Hay. Justin Tipton. Hay got around Tipton. Now up in a podium spot.
And Soup, I don't see any activity on Claudius Veed's car. He might be done for the day.
Well, that really is the story of his season. It was feast or famine for him. Good finish or bad finish. It's amazing that he was as close as he was. He currently sits in 13th position. There are cars that are going to get around him. Yeah, I think Veed... Yeah, he's in 20th now. Timing and scoring has him last. Right on board with Tipton, looking ahead at Ali Hay. Mikel Hofladays, we can go to this right now. He just had a spin.
Euronum getting past right now. Ludwig Sauer is going around him. Floris Bashar might try to follow suit.
Here's one of our fan favorites. He started at the back. Mikel Hofladays, and the car gets off in the grass. Where are you going, Miguel? Going across the track. Your day is done. And we come back live.
Yeah, Euro Num continuing to bleed positions here too. He might be losing a spot here to Oczek Podosek.
Bashar gets around him. Podosek gets around him. He is now fallen back to 10th. What is the attrition like right now, you're asking? Well, with Hofladezen out, that's big news. Solo still racing. Cocky is in the pits. It looks like his day may be done. I see 3 cars that are having trouble. Hofladezen, Cocky, and Veed. Oh my.
This is why you always say somebody has a mathematical chance at doing something.
Pierce Cocky has made a stop. He's in and out in 18th position. We're going to go down a little farther. Look at this battle. This is a fun one. This is John Morgan ahead of Bastian Hausmann and Henrik Kamara. Hausmann and Kamara household names. Not so much for John Morgan.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think John Morgan went into this season, this being his first season, the ABL, has been able to run and compete. And, well, here he is, you know, trying to do something and trying to get up into the top 10 maybe eventually by the end of this thing.
He's got a veteran behind him. But, of course, when I mention veterans, remember, most of the experience these guys have put in is in the Skippy. This is the first year for the Formula Renault 2.0 car as Formula Eagle goes over there. Here comes Hausmann, going to make the move. He's going to be on the inside, gets that done going into Stowe. Move Morgan back to 13th, and I think Kamara has visions of getting in there as well. Into Vale, the left-hander. Careful, boys. And now that Hausmann has gone around Morgan, he's starting to pull away. Look, here's a nice battle. This is 7. This is Ludwig Sauer ahead of Floris Bashar and Wojciech Podosek behind them. A nice 3-car battle for 7th. With the smaller field and the 60-minute races, gives us a chance to get everybody a little screen time here on GSRC.
And actually, it probably gives you an idea, too, of just how far Euro Num has fallen off the pace, because he was racing with these 3 guys. They got around Euro Num not too long ago, and Euro Num's way back there in the background now. I mean, he's not even in the frame of that shot yet as these 3 guys continue to go at it. They've been going at it here the majority of this race, too. They just can't get away from one another.
Stay on this board. We ride off the left front suspension of Podosek. Num is back in 10th. Diogo Francisco owns the bonus point for fastest lap, and he's the only driver who has led a lap, so there's 2 more. Bring up my point standings in my brain here and to see exactly how far Francisco was back. If memory serves, it was 23. It was 23. Now it's only 21. I'll get out my chart here and check to see how that'll actually work when the points are handed out, where Num would have to finish. I didn't think I was going to need to do that. Back to this battle for 3rd. It's the newcomer, Justin Tipton, ahead of Ali Hay. Hay's been due to have a good race. Been here all season. Ali Hay is currently in 12th in the standings. Now we'll go back.
Yeah, there you go. Battle. So a little bit of move in that 3-car battle we were watching. Wojciech Podosek is going to get around Floris Bashar, move him up into 8th. Floris Bashar down to 9th.
Take another look at that one. It's a good pass made. These guys are racing clean.
He's had a really good run on him there coming out of that last corner.
Okay, like take a quick look at the points. You get 25 for winning. You get 3 points for finishing. Let's go through here, make sure. You know, the points only pay down to 15. This is I didn't really. Now, let me make sure I'm doing this right. They have 2 championships here. They have the Formula Neagle and they have the Tony Hayes Cup. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. Yes, I am correct. It only pays down to 15th.
Wojciech Podolak is around and in the tires. You didn't hit the tires very hard, but you definitely will at least give up 1 spot. Putting it on the GSRC replay here, and you just watch him. He's going to go come into his corner here, and he's going to start sliding in just a moment, and the car just not able to get it back around him. Okay, there it is. He hit the curb, maybe bottomed out on it a little bit, and went for a little bit of a slide, and didn't see that suspension deform at all when he got into the tires, so he might actually be okay. The wing surfaces look okay. Nothing but lost time and lost pride.
All right, I've done some math. That's why I was a little quiet. I believe Errol Num needs to finish 11th or better to get the championship, assuming Francisco gets the win and the 2 bonus points. Num is in. You want to get that repaired. If I were Errol, I would stay in there long enough to make sure the car is as fast as it possibly could be. Now he rolls.
Yeah, and of course, Diego Francisco has the best lap right now by far. So right now, I think it's pretty safe to at least for the time being be given that bonus point to him.
And any chance of Errol Num leading a lap is probably out of the question too. Very interesting. Point structure: 25, 22, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. $25 points for a win, plus 3 bonus points is 28. That's what Francisco could get today. He's 23 points ahead. That means Num would need 5 points to tie. Plus a bonus point would give him, he would need to get to 6 points. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th, I think. Oh, it's going to be very close. Francisco, already with 2 wins this season, will win the tiebreaker.
Man, if you like, I know I was kind of harping on the whole mathematical chance a little bit, but really in my mind, I did not think it was going to play out like this. This is insane.
The big difference is I was thinking that it paid down to 20th. The fact that it only pays down to 15th changes everything. Every position now for Num, very important. He currently races in 14th. There's Alex Janssen. He was involved in the incident. Janssen and Num got together, and Num bounced off into V.
Ooh, Justin Tippett is around, so 3rd place car is pointed the wrong direction. He's getting back pointed the right way. Johan Vanderbilt at least got by him. I think Alistair Hay got by him as well.
He comes into the left-hander here. This was which left-hander was that? Was that? It's like Priory, I think maybe that might have been. The car loops around. He loses position to Vanderbilt and Hay. There's the spin. All right, let's catch our breath. Why don't we take this opportunity to run down the top 10? None of those drivers have pitted. In fact, there has nobody who's made a pit stop all the way down to 13. Errol Num in 14th. That's the first guy to make a stop. Diego Francisco. He leads by 2.7 seconds over Alex Janssen. Johnson comfortably 6 seconds up on Alistair Hay. Hay started in 7th, has picked up 4 spots. But it's not that far back to Johan Vanderbilt. Talk about a guy on the charge. Started 12th. He is up 8 positions, and Vanderbilt's coming. Rookie Justin Tipton races in 5th, about 6 seconds ahead of Alejandro Lero. Lero's got about 2.5 seconds back to Ludwig Sauer in 7th. Another 3 seconds back to Floris Bashar. A hard charger, Wojciech Podolzek, 15th to 9th, but about 7 seconds behind Bashar.
And don't forget, he that was just after losing 2 spots not too long ago, so he's actually been up as high as 7th.
And then Bastian Hausmann rounds out your top 10. Errol Num has made his stop. He's in 14th. That's not quite as bad as it seems, as he's the leader of all the cars who've pitted. A minute and a half behind the leader.
Soup, we're only like 23 minutes into this race and this much has happened.
Yes. I don't know if that's good or bad for some of the drivers out there. I guess Errol Num would like this thing to end as soon as possible. Go ahead and we'll look at P11.
Now don't forget Elmar Noteboom. He started next to last on the field, and because he wasn't able to put down a qualifying time, so he started 20th, and that's 9 spots. I think pretty sure you take that. Actually, technically, he started last on the field.
He did indeed. Give you a lap time here of Errol Num. He just put in a 1:44 flat. That's about a half second slower than, look at this pass being made here. About a half second slower than his fastest lap. They continue to go side by side. Notebaum and Morgan.
Yeah, it looks like he has the.
Kamara.
Looks like Euro has his wing fixed too, and I think that might have been one of the biggest holdups for him. So, that the lap time difference right now might be the fact he's on full fuel.
Ah, very good.
Oh, here's a good 3-car battle. Matt Carballo, Tuan Tran, Daniel Solo. They're going at it really hard here. Matt Carballo, of course, he's had his fair share of trouble today. He's trying to recover from some of that, and now he's involved in horses. We might try to go 3 wide here.
And that was Solo who shot through the middle. He got the pass made. Tran got the inside of Carballo. Carballo goes back. Oh, no, maybe a slowdown penalty now. Yes, Solo gets a slowdown penalty, and he has to give up those 2 spots. Tran, Carballo, and Solo now, 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Well, that 3-car battle broke up real fast thanks to that slowdown penalty, as that was a pretty decent gap between the 3 of them.
"36 minutes to go. So we are racing here for the absolute beginning of Formula Neagle season finale, season 14.
See, these guys here, they're running about 20 seconds or so, maybe 18 seconds in front of your leader, Diago Francisco.
The big story right now, and it may seem like not much to pay attention to, is the lap times that Errol Num can put in. As we have a pitter. This is, we have a lot of people coming in. Hay is coming in. Tipton has come in for his stop.
Alejandro Lero, I thought he was going to come in for a second, but he just kind of ran that corner wide. He's still on track. We're at that point where they're kind of teasing us a little bit with trying to come down pit road. But it would be about the right time of race to start seeing a lot of these guys come down for their pit cycle if they're going to go ahead and divide it up evenly.
Right, this is big news. Now, Kamara made his stop. Num was able to get by him with the pit stop. Here come the leaders. Francisco can just take his time. He is in and out. Johnson comes out in second.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering, Euronum obviously lost so much time between that and the fact that he's already also taken his pit stop that he didn't have any chance of getting up there and trying to lead a lap during that pit cycle right there. So Diego Francisco, I believe he's going to come in first and out first.
Yeah, so that makes pretty much everybody has made their stop. Now Num is just coming around Woodcote. He's going to be able to get some of these guys. Hausman is rolling, but Num goes by. Num has worked his way up to 10th. He jumped Hausman. Note bomb. Kamara, of course, made a stop. John Morgan.
And he's back now to also being able to run times pretty close to what he was able to before the accident. So that's obviously going to be significant right there.
Tenth place gets him 6 points, plus a bonus point for being inside the top 3. That would be 7. That would mean that Francisco would need to score 30 points to catch him. Right now, Francisco has only scored 28. According to my calculations, 10th gives Num the championship. 11th would give Num the championship. 12th would not.
And that's still with 32 minutes, or 33 minutes rather, still to go in this race. So as you've already seen today, a lot can happen. And
yep.
I mean, Euronum knows it too. I mean, he's really pushing that car to the limits. See there, Alistair, hey, talking about pushing into the limits. Look at him run wide and kicking up the grass.
Num with the car fixed is running decent lap times. He's got 5 seconds on Bastian Hausman. Boy, there's a pair of... It's funny that we've been doing this long enough, Adam, and it seems like it's always Num and Hausman. That's not a surprise to see them in the championship battle. He just wouldn't expect to be for 10th and 11th. We look at this one right now. Ali Hay. That's Vanderbilt in front. The Vanderbilt trying to hold off the rookie. They head through Vale now into the right-hander that is Club. They can get on the gas. 2 interesting racing lines from the 2 of them. Hay looking for a little momentum out of Club. They head down into Abbey. Hay closes up. Vanderbilt fends him off. It's 2.3 seconds back to Justin Tipton, who's watching this whole thing. Now into the very technical section. Through Priory. This horrible left-hander that is Brooklands. Then the never-ending right-hander that is Luffield. Take it as wide as you can. Get back on the throttle. Across the line, and Vanderbilt holds him off. They'll have to try it one more time. Vanderbilt working. Lap 18. Correction, lap 17 with just a tick before the halfway mark.
And an update here on the fastest lap point. That's obviously going to be something. Alex Johnson's been the only one that's been able to get even remotely close to Diego Francisco on that regard. And so that's still 0.3 of a second off what Diego Francisco's fastest lap is of the day here so far, as Diego's the only one that's been able to get down in the 42.6s.
Hausman losing ground on Num. That interval was about 5 seconds. Is up to 6 now. So Num looking good.
Yeah. I don't see 9th place on the track. I don't see Jocek Podacek on the track. He had to take a tow. That's big. That's another position for Euronum as Jocek pulls away.
I don't see it on this lap. I'm not sure where
maybe
Podacek ran into trouble. As we look for the replay, I don't see it.
Some sort of strategy play?
Yeah, there was no issue that I could see unless he decided to come in. I don't get it.
Oh well. Well, either way, the big story there is that's another position for Euro Num. So move him up just a touch.
There we look at Aero Num now up into 9th, feeling a little bit better.
Here, change for P3 up here, Alistair Hay.
Well, not quite. He's working on Vanderbilt. He's still behind him. Now he's going to make a move on the outside. He continues to look. Can't quite get him yet. I think he actually poked his nose ahead of Hay, and on timing and scoring for the briefest of time, I believe Alistair Hay was ahead. And now he's charging on him again. Boy, he has been working on Vanderbilt. This is the best battle on the track, and it's a good one. It's for 3rd spot. Give us an opportunity, maybe stay on this for a little bit and get a chance to watch some racing.
And Justin Tipton has just ran these guys down. I mean,
could be a case of Hay pestering Vanderbilt and costing him time.
Yeah, Johan's had to take a defensive line a few times, and that slowed him down by quite a bit. I mean, his lap time is almost a half second off of what Alistair Hayes was, and then in turn, Justin Tipton was a half second faster. Actually, a half second faster than what Alistair Hay was. So, all in all, gaps are closing.
Of course, Johan Vanderbilt does a little bit of commentary here on GSRC, does an excellent job of that. I got the pleasure of working with him yesterday as we did the Lotus 49s. 1, 2, 3, racing for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Johan Vanderbilt, Ali Hay, and newcomer Justin Tipton. Don't need to go there, but I can just tell you that Num's lead now on Bastian Hausman up to 7.5 seconds. Things are looking better for the rolling Estonian. And if I can speak for Diogo Francisco, and I don't want to speak for him, a championship is wonderful, but I know Diogo, well, I've interviewed him enough that he would not want to win one that was back into one, basically.
Here in Euro might have just had a problem. Oh, Liero, okay, excuse me. So, ooh, that almost gave me a heart attack there.
Yeah. I haven't been able to, our CBAR director can find it. He has all the little stats in front of him. I haven't been able to see this one. Take a look at this, see if we can see. Oh, he blinked away. Must have been a connection issue. There is an insert cap, although I'd be surprised. Maybe. Might have got to it that early. Let's go to 3rd. Here we go. This is fun again. This is Vanderbilt and Hay. Where do you make the pass here, Adam? I guess Stowe's always a good spot, right? If you can get a run.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, you need that draft, especially in these cars, to really be able to try to get you around. So anywhere that you got a good run up into the corner, Stowe's a good one, but it's just Johan Vanderbilt's so hard to pass. I mean, he knows how to run that defensive line that he's going to keep Alistair Hay working back there.
My dad would say that Johan Vanderbilt is a $3 bill. Hard to pass. Tipton back in 5th.
That's something else too. Okay, so here's our top 3 right now with Francisco, Janssen, and Vanderbilt. When was the last time that we've been able to talk about a top 3 that didn't have somebody like Euro Num in it, or somebody like David third-degree burns, who isn't here today, or somebody like Tuan Tran. When was the last time we had a top three, excluding those guys, at any point during a race, at the exception of during a pit cycle?
It is the future of Formula Neagle. These are the new. You're looking at one back there. Justin Tipton qualified 5th today. Hopefully he'll be back for season 15. He was up on the back of Hay, then he lost momentum. Hay running around behind Vanderbilt. This is the best battle on the track. All that's going on behind Diogo Francisco. Almost 4 seconds up on Janssen. Janssen not giving up the chase. There we look at a quick look at the driver in 6th. He's having a good run. He's in the F2 championship hunt, Ludwig Sauer. He's got about 1.5 seconds up on Floris Bashar.
Yeah, with Daniel Solo running a lap down right now, I think we could, as long as Ludwig keeps it nice and clean from here on out, that championship's going to be pretty much his. He went into it with a 7-point lead.
And it finally happened. Did Hay finally got around Vanderbilt? We missed it. We were on it forever. Ali Hay finally makes the pass as soon as we leave. No, let's stay live. They get together. Vanderbilt gets into the back of Hay.
He broke loose and tried to save it. Vanderbilt didn't have anywhere to go.
That's a tough one. So Adam, you saw Hay get loose then, is what you said?
Yeah. He got Hay loose. He had to chase the car, and Johan just, he's committed to the corner at that point. He just didn't have anywhere to go. No matter what kind of braking you do, it's not going to keep you out of the guy.
Let's focus on the car ahead if we can. Let's look at Hay. Slide up one spot. There we go. There's Hay getting loose. You can see the car squiggle. And Johan had nowhere to go. Nice job, director.
And Alistair Hayes pulling it down pit road here. I don't know if he has any kind of suspension damage. The car looked like it was driving straight, but Johan Vanderbilt has wing damage, obviously, from that contact. And actually, he has about the same kind of wing damage that Euro Num had in that instant earlier. So look for Johan's lap times to be affected at least a little bit here.
Same time of wing damage of Errol Num, who now sits in 8th position, and the championship gets more and more comfortable. In fact, we have a nice little battle. Let's go there live. Let's go to Al Hay right now. This is, did Alistair Hay make a stop? Or did he just fall in back? No, he's made a second stop, yes. So this is not really a battle for position, as Num still has to make a pit stop. Yeah, Num has made his first stop. He'll need one more because these are 2-stop races. Hay should be good to go from here. Tuan Tran comes in and comes out in 14th position, not the day he wanted.
And he's off cycle a little bit too. He had his own troubles, but I mean, this is going to be the time, I think, too, where we're inside the window for the end of the race. So you probably see pit road becoming pretty busy, despite if anybody is on or off cycle. Speaking of which, Johan Vanderbilt coming on pit road.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I scared myself on a replay. I apologize. Let's just say I dropped my coffee on my lap. How about that?
There you go. Let's see if he gets his wing replaced here. Indeed he does.
Daniel Solo just put the car in the wall. A hard one. He was in 15th position. Yeah, take a look at this one. That's a pretty big one. The car was not feeling all that well, I think, before this.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get the car. Well, you'll see him run wide here. He's trying to get the car back on the track, hit those bumps, and it just upset him enough to where there was no more control. Funny thing is you could do that in the majors race tonight that you'll see here on GSRC. You could do that if you're running low on the apron. The bumps there at Pocono will throw you around pretty good in that Indy car.
That's right. Something very different coming up here on GSRC this Sunday. As we've had a triple header today, we have the Lotus 49s, the official iRacing series. That one is in the books. We got this one here, Absalon Lotus 79s. Let me correct myself. Then we have the Absolute Beginners. And, of course, then the majors. 500 miles in the Dallara IR-18 at the Tricky Triangle. And if you're a fan of Soup's On, yours truly will be on that broadcast. If you're not a fan of myself, forget what I just said and watch anyway. Looking there at Elmer Noteboom.
Elmer's just had himself you would think by saying, oh, hey, he's in 12th place, you'd be saying, oh, it's a great day. But considering the fact that where he started, last in the field, having to crawl his way through a few accidents and try to gain positions by just simply racing, he's having himself a pretty good day.
Yeah, that's now that's Potocek that just got around Noteboom. Potocek up into 12th, Noteboom back into 13th. Where's Arrow Num sit? Well, he still needs to make a pit stop, but he is in 10th. I am assuming maybe he made his pit stop when I wasn't looking. Sure enough, he did. 10th is not where he wants to be, but there are several drivers ahead of him. Kamara still needs to make a stop. Floris Bashar. Once everyone gets that final stop, and we'll give a rundown of the points again, but I think 10th position should be okay.
Well, I think he still has a few guys in front of him that haven't pitted yet either, so... Henrik Kamara hasn't come down pit road yet. Bastian Hausman. Aaron Tipton's coming down pit road right now.
This is the guy that's fun. This is a guy I'm not familiar with. If he has raced in the ABL before, I don't remember it, but my goodness, he qualified 5th. Having a good run. He stayed out of trouble. He makes his final pit stop. He comes out in 5th. And honestly, the drivers ahead of him, Bashar still needs to stop. Sawyer needs to stop. I imagine he's going to be able to vulture those spots when they come in. This is a top 3, I think, for Tipton. Remember, he was the guy in the popcorn position looking at the battle between Hay and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is racing in 6th right now. He's good to go to the end. Ali Hay right behind him. 2 seconds back, he is also good to go. That one may not be done. Look at that beautiful English sky pushing down on the countryside. Right on board. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say that, considering how much action and intensity we saw in the first half of this race, it's really calmed down. And the fact that it's calmed down that's very much in Euronum's favor, I think, here for the rest of this thing. So he's just got to bring it home clean, I think, at this point.
Now, nobody knows points better than Errol Nunn, but I can very much. It'll be interesting when he comes in for the interview to ask him if he knew what he needed to do under this scenario. to do the math and actually how far up he had to finish to be ahead of Diego Francisco. That would be some pretty amazing calculations to be able to race and do the math. I had a hard time doing it, and I'm just sitting here with a lap full of hot coffee.
Yeah, lap full of hot coffee.
That's, well.
Oh. Sean Ambrose, by the way, in our ear, letting him know that he's going to be on the Billboard Hot 100 Country Songs with writing a song with coffee in my lap. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to be a thing, guys.
Diego Francisco comes across the start-finish line, working lap number 27. So the laps don't matter. It's the time that matters. 14 and a half minutes of racing to go. Everything going the Portuguese driver's way. Right now, he's running up on the back of Tuan Tran. Tran out there to ride off the tail of Season 6 champion. Of course, that was in the Skippies. Talk about championships. You got to think that there's one in Diego Francisco's future. Be it here in the ABL or some other series that we cover here on GSRC. We not only encourage the fans, but the drivers. Check out our schedule. Come over, do a little cross-pollination. We have lots of different series that we cover, lots of different disciplines. Find one that fits you. Do a little double duty. Tran gets out of the way, and you'll be able to see the car go by. There's Francisco, gets clearly by. The gap to Alex Janssen, 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, you look at Diego Francisco there, just the race that he's driven. I mean, you say that he wouldn't want the championship to fall in his lap, and, well, maybe he wouldn't necessarily want to win one that way, but it would be a championship nonetheless. And you know, and he might not even have been thinking about it because he was so far out going into today about the possibility of having a chance. But it seems like that he knew that once something happened behind him, oh, hey, you know, and he's just had the afterburners on this entire race.
Oh, Justin Tipton, right up, had a little spin. That's okay. We're fine. It was a while back, but.
Ooh, but Alistair Hay is all over the place, though. Oh, what a great save from Alistair Hay, literally just about 10 seconds ago. He hits that same bump that he did earlier.
Yep.
You just watch him on exit here, and that car was sitting probably at a good 30-degree angle to the racetrack. He's able to bring it back coming straight.
So what has happened now with Tipton's mistake? Vanderbilt is in 5th. Tipton has gone to 6th, and Hay, with all of his squirreliness, is now in 7th. So this becomes an interesting battle here. The fastest car of the three must be the guy in the middle, I would think, Justin Tipton. Talk about a little cross-pollination there. We're doing it with names. Vanderbilt in 5th, Tipton in 6th, Hay in 7th. And again, that's going to be a little bit better because we still have Ludwig Sauer and Floris Bashar still need to come in and make their pit stops. And I believe that these guys should be able to get around those two drivers. Francisco and Janssen still also need to make their final stop, but I don't think that they're going to get have a worry of losing a position. Leaders have come in. Francisco finds his spot right ahead of the parked car of Claudius Veed. Now he rolls. Francisco comes out behind Alejandro Guerrero. Alejandro should be good to go. So he'll stay out there. Francisco will have to negotiate him. Lero 1 lap down. Hey, you know what? It's not going to be wire to wire. I think maybe, I'm not sure if Ludwig Sauer is going to get credit with leading a lap or not. I don't think he is. Sauer comes in, makes his stop, as does Bashar. They cycle out in 6th and 7th, just as we expected, behind Vanderbilt, Tipton, and Hay. All right, Adam. With just under 10 minutes of racing, I'll take the top 5. You take the back half of the top 10.
Sounds
Your
like
leader,
a plan.
Diogo Francisco, qualified first, racing in first. I don't believe he's given up the lead. It's wire to wire. He has the bonus points for fastest lap. He sits in first. He's got a 5-second lead over Alex Janssen. Janssen qualified in 4th. The big news about Janssen, he made contact with Errol Num. Num spun off and got together with Claudius Veed. Those two cars have been trying to recover the whole race. Janssen in 2nd. Of course, Num is still out there racing. Veed had to retire. In 3rd position, well, it's the fan belt, Johan Vanderbilt. Get this one in quick because it's not going to be for long. Here comes Justin Tipton. Now remember, Tipton was racing ahead of these guys until he looped it around. Vanderbilt in 3rd, Tipton in 4th. If Justin will cooperate and not make this pass till we run down our top 10, that would be kind. Let's stay on this one more time as they go into corner number 1. Nothing going to happen there. Let's continue. We'll cut in to Adam's top 10 run here. Oh, wait a minute. All right, we'll leave. Down to 5th, Ali Hay. And now I'll turn it over to Adam, and meanwhile, I'll be ready to butt in as soon as Tipton makes his move. Go ahead.
Yeah, and in a comfortable 6th position right now, we find Ludwig Sauer. Ludwig in 6th position, 13th place is where he started. So a good, quiet day. We haven't talked too much about Ludwig Sauer with the exception of a few battles that he's been in. But, you know, I think on a day like today, if you've had a quiet day, that's not too bad. Now, I say he was comfortable, but catching him here pretty quick, it seems like, here in just the last moment or two, is Floris Bashar. Floris is back there in 7th position. He started the day in 9th, and another one of those guys that he was in battles with Ludwig Sauer that we were talking about earlier. Another quiet day as far as being able to stay away from the contact and the action. Now, in 8th position, he started 2nd. You already heard about the contact he had earlier with the Alex Janssen and Claudius Veed. Well, he was able to recover to the point that he is sitting in 8th, and we believe by our math that this would wrap up the championship for Euro Num, assuming he can get through the next 7 minutes and 20 seconds in the clear. We'll obviously be keeping an eye on that. Bastian Hausmann is back in 9th position. Bastian is he's had himself a little bit of an up and down day. Started in 14th, he's able to climb up quite a few spots. But ever since then, it seems like we find him in 7th, maybe 8th, maybe 9th. But right now, settling into the 9th spot. And to round out the top 10, we go back to Henrik Kamara. Henrik's one of the guys I always like to talk about, but hasn't made himself too known here for today. Started 11th, just only 1 spot gained, and just trying to bring the car home here to wrap up the season.
And now, perfectly done. Let's go up to 3rd position. They waited for the rundown to be finished as they go side by side. Hay makes a stab at Tipton makes a stab at Vanderbilt, does not get it. Vanderbilt in 3rd, Tipton in 4th. He's looking both sides. Here he comes, gets one more run on him. Vanderbilt has been like a kidney stone, incredibly hard to pass right now, and he keeps the car on the outside. They are side by side. Cialis bathtubs as they head down to Vale. Tipton late on the brakes, but nope. Vanderbilt gets a little bit squirrely, and all this nonsense has brought Ali Hay right into the mix.
I think we've seen this earlier. We've seen this before already.
Yep.
Except I think it was just swap Tipton and Hay.
And Tipton looking to the left, looking to the right, working both sides of the street like a jaywalking mailman, trying to find some way around Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt making that car as wide as a Julia Roberts Swilis. The commentator continues to work through his bag of cliches. Right up on the nose is Tipton. Now he gets to run on the inside.
Oh, it seemed like he had a little bit of trouble getting the power down there. Oh, that's going to give Hay, I think, a run here. Coming down into 1 in just a moment. No, Hay lags back. Tipton's going to go ahead and take the run.
Tipton looking to the inside, practicing a little rhinoplasty, chopping the nose off of Tipton was Vanderbilt. Tipton now losing momentum. Ali Hay back there in the popcorn position, watching the show ahead of him. Just under 5 minutes of racing to go. Tipton looking for some way around. Johan Vanderbilt making that car as wide as a Julia Roberts smile. Will not let Tipton go by. Tipton loses momentum. Hay now thinking, maybe I can get in this spot. Vanderbilt starts to pull away. Tipton takes a different racing line, huddling the inside. Hay out there looking for some way to get into the mix. Through Abbey. Down to Bridge. Vanderbilt over the curbing.
Ooh.
Diving the car in deeper than beatnik poetry was Justin Tipton, but he stayed off the tail. Tipton continues to get loose. Meanwhile, while this is going on, Wojciech has turned the car around. Not really important. He was back in 15th, racing just inside the points. No lap cars ahead of Vanderbilt. He has a clear track in front of him. All this going on behind Diego Francisco and Alex Janssen, who raced 1-2 comfortably separated.
And for what it's worth, Euro Num's lap times have really fallen off the last couple of laps, but I think it's mostly because he's just backing off the gas a little bit, knowing that he's probably going to finish this race in 8th position.
Continue to watch Vanderbilt, a veteran, trying to fend off Justin Tipton. Vanderbilt now hitting its mark, smooth as blended whiskey, working through club. Tipton back and forth, would like to get that podium spot. Down into Priory, through the technical section. They've left Hay behind. Tipton gets right up onto the gearbox of Vanderbilt. Swinging wide, looking for a good drive out of Luffield. He's close. He's 2 car lengths back. Can he get a toe? Can he make a stab at it going down into 1? He's 1 car length back. Closing the distance like David Letterman's, the gap like David Letterman's Dennis. He does not do it. Vanderbilt in 3rd, looking for some way around his Tipton. If there was ever a case of Johan Vanderbilt being the rooster that's hard to milk, it's right now. When it comes to milking a rooster, the hardest part starts after you catch him, and that's what Justin Tipton is trying to do. Vanderbilt.
And these guys, by the way, are coming up on Nocek Podacek, and his car is, he does not have a good handle on the machine right now. I think it's gone completely away. They're only separated here by about half this back straightaway.
We continue to stay on this one. Best battle out there. Nothing going on up front. So they go through Abbey. Oh, a good run now from Tipton. He can look to the inside. He dives it in there. Cialis Bathtubs out of Bridge to Priory. They continue to go 2 wide. Tipton with the momentum. He'll be on the outside. Vanderbilt was pinned to the inside. He won't have a good exit. Tipton might have more speed, but there's nowhere to put the car. To the main straight one more time. Francisco has taken the white flag. Tipton will not make an attack into one. Our leader is into Stowe, the back half of the track. We'll be able to cover the leader, then we'll come right back and look at Vanderbilt and Tipton. Love this rookie. He wants the spot, but he's not going to cause an issue to get it. Our leader is heading down into Abbey right now. Here's the pass now. Vanderbilt. Tipton on the outside. He cannot get it done.
Ooh,
oh, no.
Back end was always off.
He's lost it. And that's the exclamation point on that story. Perfect timing for us to go to the leader. Diego Francisco. He's won once. He's won twice. He's going to pick up his third win. Nobody else has more than one. But unfortunately, there's not enough points for the Portuguese driver to win the championship, but he will finish the season with a victory. Round number 7 goes to Diogo Francisco. Alex Janssen, coming across the line, picks up second place. With Tipton's exit, Johan Vanderbilt looks to have a comfortable lead on third. Ali Hay is behind him. I think it's going to be too little too late. Give the veteran third position, Ali Hay fourth position. Tipton get the car back around. He did. He'll come across in fifth. But he has won the hearts of the fans and the commentators with his effort. Battle for sixth across the line. Sawyer is going to nip Floris Bashar. And here's the big news. According to our calculations, 8th place is enough. You get 10 points for finishing 8th. With a bonus point for qualifying, that's 11. That should be enough points. We can say 7-time champion, the Roland Estonian Errol Num. Bastian Hausman, Hendrik Kamara, Tuan Tran, the last 3 cars on the lead lap. All right, the racing is over, but our broadcast is far from done. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate for the final time this season. Back in a few. Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League, this is GSRC's coverage of Formula Neagle Season 14, the season finale from Silverstone. Let's give you the finishing order right now. His third win of the season. You would think in a 7-race season that would be enough to get the championship. Not here. Diogo Francisco, we believe, is going to finish second in the points, first on the day. Alex Johnson, the rookie, had an impressive run. He comes home in second. It's got to be feeling good that his incident did not cause both Num and Claudius Veed the championship. Johan Vanderbilt had an exciting battle with a rookie, Justin Tipton, behind him. Johan gets the best of it. The Fan Belt comes home third. Alistair Hay watched the show, vultures the spot on Tipton in fourth. Justin has to settle for fifth. The back half of your top 10, Ludwig Sauer was able to get ahead, just ahead of Floris Bashar for 6th and 7th. Errol Num, this 8th place finish, we believe, is enough to give the Roland Estonian his 7th Formula Neagle crown. Bastian Hausmann and Henrik Kamaro go 9th and 10th.
And coming home in 11th position, we'll find Tuan Tran. Tuan's day, not without incident, but he at least was able to get it home on the lead lap. John Morgan coming home in 12th, and a pretty quiet day for John Morgan, another guy that we really didn't talk a whole lot about. Elmer Noteboom started this race last, was able to get up inside the top 10 for a little while, but ended up coming home in 13th position, 14th position with an ill-handling race car at the end. Jocek Podijak, Alejandro Liro, Matt Carbello, Daniel Solo, Piers Kocky, Kale Hoffendazen, and of course, the troubles that befell Claudius Veed. He ends up in last position, but he has another chance at it next year soon.
That's right, and it won't be that long for season 15. Hey, we have this opportunity to talk to the race winner here today, hailing out of Portugal, Diogo Francisco. Congratulations on your third win of the season. We've done the math. We don't think you scored enough to catch Arrow in the championship.
Yeah, I still didn't do the math myself, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. I think he finished 8th in the end. I don't think that's enough, but yeah. Still exciting, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was for a while. The math was very, very close. When he was down in 11th or 12th, we were thinking, man, this is going to be tight. 3 wins, you've turned it around. Now, it's just a matter of making the best out of those bad days, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I really only had a bad race. The bad race I had, I finished, I think it was 15th or something. So yeah, that just can't happen apparently for you to go for that championship. Oh well.
One of the great things about Formula Neagle and the way the ABL does it, short seasons, 6-7 races, and then if you don't get there, you get another chance at it. So you're looking forward to trying this one more time?
Yeah, I mean, this was a testing season. Let's say we are all getting used to the car. We are just trying to figuring out how to set it up. So I'm pretty sure next season will be as good or even more competitive, I think.
Well, Diogo, if momentum means anything, you've got it going into season 15 with a solid win. We think it was wire to wire. I don't think you lost the lead even during pit stop. So congratulations on a very, really impressive performance today.
Appreciate it, Soup. That's very kind of you. Yeah, it was a really good race. Very nerve-wracking, but yeah, thanks.
Diogo Francisco, even when you go wire to wire, it's still kind of scary. All right, now we have brought in the driver in third position. We'll let Adam talk to Johan Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Johan, hey, great run, able to bring home the podium finish here for today. But, man, it was not without having to work for it. I mean, fantastic battles with Alistair Hay and Justin Tipton through most of the back half of the race. Tell us about it.
Hey, can you hear me well, Adam?
Loud and clear, buddy.
Very good. Yeah, it was an insane race. I barely had any practice an hour before we started. It was the first time since my vacation I hopped in this car. So I had a horrible qualifying. I was 12th, 13th, something like that. My opening lap was amazing. I overtook 5 people on the opening lap, and I really made a difference there because after that, I could follow, I think it was Alistair who was at that moment in P6, and I could just follow him for a while, learned some of his maneuvers, his driving line, and that really helped me get the speed that the people in the front of the pack had. Then, of course, the moment happened between Eero and Claudius. I don't know exactly what happened, but I saw them making a mistake. And after that, I just had to follow Justin and Mr. Hay. And my pit stops were really good. I think I made up 4 or 5 seconds in each of my pit stops. And because of that, I was in front of them during my second and my third stint. And man, those guys, they had the speed, and they probably deserved the podium position on speed alone. But I tried to give them everything I got.
Well, you certainly did. You made it very exciting, by the way. I mean, that was some of the best defensive, clean driving I've seen in quite a while, just to be honest with you. So for that, I know you weren't able to compete as much as you wanted to here for this season. Are you going to be back full time for next season?
I'm going to be back for sure. I don't know if I'm going to be back full time, of course. That's always difficult to say. You never know when you head up for a few weeks on a vacation. But yeah, this is the league that we run, and I want to be here as much as possible. And if it's as good as today, I might actually go for a top 5 championship position.
Hey, well, it'll be great to see you a little bit more often, and well, I'll tell you, I'll either be out there with you or I'll be up here in the booth. There'll probably be one or the other for some of the races next season. So we look forward to seeing you, buddy.
Very good, man. I'll see you on track. Have a good one.
Johan van der Velde, our 3rd place finisher today. Now we have an opportunity to talk to the man who came in 8th position. You may be wondering, why would we care about somebody who finished in 8th? We think that Eero Num, the Roland Estonian, earned enough points to get the championship. Eero, congratulations.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks, but I'm not sure.
You had to, we were feeling pretty good about it. How damaged was the car after the contact, before the pit stop? Did the pit stop help?
The pit stop helped. I gained about 2 seconds. I think before the pit stop, my car was about 3-4 seconds down on speed. So yeah, I just had to wait for the opportunity to pit first.
Then you came out and you were, our math had you in really shaky position there until attrition. You started to pick up position after position. We think that you got the championship. We should have talked to Johan when he was here to get it officially. Let's assume that you did. A hard one. You only won 1 race this season.
It's all about the practice and the setup I was alone. So the others had big teams to try out setups. I think that was the main key. And also maybe the car doesn't suit me as I don't drive it.
Right. Maybe you can get somebody with all the Bushfink, with all the drivers out there. You need to get a teammate in here to help you with setups, huh?
I think I'm done with. I'm not racing next season. I'm going to Spec Racer.
Going to go in the Spec Racer. That's, you know, ones that we like you in the low downforce cars. We like you when you have to work a little harder. At least that's my opinion.
Maybe.
Congrats. It'll be fun to see you manhandle that Spec Racer around. Congratulations on another championship. Good luck the rest of the way down the road when we see another series.
Yeah, thanks.
Eero Num, multi-time champion. Don't think there's going to be a lot of tears shed if Eero doesn't come back to try for an 8th championship here. Let's open it up a bit. That's going to do it here for us on the Global Sim Racing Channel for this season. We'd like to thank everybody at Absolute Beginner League. Man, we've been doing theirs, I think, from maybe the very beginning. We are so happy to be their main broadcaster, and we hope to continue that in the future. Thanks to the company's equipment and software you see on the screen right now. The original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel is courtesy of Eric Eckelm and June Lalonde. See the screen how to contact each of them. With this being Formula Neagle's season finale, GSRC's coverage is also complete, but rest assured, we'll be available to bring you season 15 if so asked. Sliding across the screen now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And while you're here, if you haven't done it already, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Finally, on behalf of the crew, Adam, Sean, and Dougie, we'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun. Storm of the Castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.